Let's get started. Climate change. Climate change one. Be right there in a second. What's happening with you? Climate change. And we just gonna let it rock. Yeah. Alright. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Peace, 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 peace. Islam, Hotel, John Boy, all that. Assalamu alaikum. Body Ghani. Yeah, just getting my situations together. We got a lot I'm going to try to touch on real quick. Appreciate you tapping in. This is the instruction from your prophet Noble Drew Ali. Be faithful unto your forefathers' divine and national creed, that you will be blessed for your good deeds that you sow in the flesh. Allah is the one who judges the world, and his judgment is now on. But the weak can comprehend it not. The end of time is drawing near, so says Allah to his divine prophet Noble Drew Ali. And that's why many hearts have been turned to stone, and many have eyes to see but cannot see, ears to hear but cannot hear, lest they will be confounded by their sins. These are trying hours now, dear Moors, and every evil spirit is moving, and they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid, and to cause confusion in the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have a true love of Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but will sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your profit. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest, and the ones that speak against your divine and national principles of your temples. Act accordingly, and Allah will bless you for your good work. Peace, your divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Now it's to the members of the Moor Science Temple of America. And with that, I say peace, 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 peace. What's happening with you? How you feeling today? It's a beautiful Saturday where I am. Seeing some people tapping in. Peace, Shazi, Godman, Ace, Real, David. Yeah. Peace, 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 peace. Sunday morning church. Well, it's Saturday, but I appreciate it. All right. So, we got a lot to talk about. Where should we get started? Should we talk about Supreme Grand Council? I always talk about Supreme Grand Council. Should we talk about Supreme Grand Sheiks? Should we talk about climate change? Should we talk about the Circle 7 Koran? You let me know. Where are we beginning today? Where are we going with it? Because I can go any which way. I got a lot going on here. Nobody? Well, I'll start real quick. just to be Supreme Grand Sheik. Supreme Grand Council. Supreme Grand Council it is. Alrighty. Supreme Grand Council. Boom. So this is a document that I put up online, and it's a document that I put up online from last week that it's called the Supreme Grand Council Rulings of the 89th and 90th Convention Cycle Years. And it was sent to me by one of the alleged Supreme Grand Council members with instructions not to redistribute this information to anyone, but that if anyone asks me about it, that I need to send those people or those individuals to that person, and then they will disseminate the information, which was really troubling to me because this information, Supreme Grand Council ruling, this should be public for everyone. This is the public record for us. We should be able to see this with no problem. And the fact that she was trying to funnel people to have to contact her first to get this information really rubbed me the wrong way. So I made a video about it and broke it all down. But I didn't have the document when I was making the video. Or I don't think I read it in depth. I did some reading. Oh boy, did I do some reading. We have a lot of interesting things in here. One thing that I see, when are appointments to the Supreme Grand Council confirmed? And it says, and this was on 4/22/2018, the sitting Supreme Grand Council determined the question as follows. The Grand Major Temple must confirm all Adept, Sheik, Divine Minister, Grand Sheik, Assistant Grand Sheik, Grand Governor, Assistant Grand Governor, and Supreme Grand Council appointments during the National Convention. When I read this, I said, well, who determined this law? Who determined that all adept sheiks, divine ministers, all of these appointments had to be confirmed at the convention? So because the convention is in September or October, I'm not really sure, but that's not the point. So if, let's say you missed the convention and then in December, you have 50 people in your community ready to start the temple. According to this, it's saying that the Grand Major Temple has to confirm the sheik and assistant sheiks, all those appointments for the temple that you want to set up in your community. You have to wait all the way around until the next convention to then go to the Grand Major Temple to get that confirmed. That doesn't make sense to me. That seems like it really stagnates the movement and puts speed bumps and road barriers and I need to wait right here and wait for confirmation. Yep, we're gonna have to wait the whole year. No, we can't start our temple. No, I know we need to do some work, but we can't do anything right here. And the biggest problem I have is, where did this come from? What is the logic behind waiting? Where did Noble Drew Ali say this? I don't understand. And why, if this happened in 4/22/2018, why are we just hearing about it now? But I had many of those questions. Another question right here. What is the authority of the Supreme Grand Council? This was answered on February 12th, 2017. And it's like, wait a minute. Why haven't we known this sooner? If the Supreme Grand Council has been doing this work, why did it take me making a bunch of videos, speaking about it on social media and live to get it in 2019? I would think that we should know what the authority of the Supreme Grand Council is. I would think that that's something that should be well known and published and known across so all the members know what it is. So we all have an understanding of how our organization, how our government operates. Doesn't make sense. How can we be a part of our nation and don't even know how our nation is run? or who it's being run or managed by. Okay, boom. Oh, this is all part of that question. What is the authority of the Supreme Grand Council? And so it has a bunch of different bullet points: 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, and all the way down in 3.5. This is what it says. Therefore, the authority of the Supreme Grand Council is: it is the highest judicial tribunal of the Moorish Science Temple of America and Moorish Divine and National Movement. It has the sole jurisdiction to interpret law. Unlike courts of the United States, the Supreme Grand Council is integral to Act 1, the lawmaking process. It is integral to Act 1 of our Constitution, the lawmaking process, in that it must review, determine if a law is in harmony with the divine constitution and holy laws of the prophet before such law is enforceable. Lastly, the Supreme Grand Council has power and duty to control and supervise all the affairs and properties of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Don't you think it's very important for us to know who the members of this council are if it's the highest judicial tribunal for the Moorish Science Temple of America? Just a question I'm putting out there. Is that something unreasonable to ask? The highest tribunal. What is tribunal? Let's look it up. Let's look it up. Tribunal. What we talking about? Anybody got an idea? Tribunal. Yes, we should know who they are. Angel L. I agree. I agree. I don't feel like that's too much to ask, or some crazy thing that some secretive thing that not everyone's supposed to know. It feels like that's something that should be very well known. Tribunal. Wow. The seat of a judge, the place where he administers justice. The whole body of judges who compose a jurisdiction. Oh my goodness. A judicial court. A judicial court. There's some Moors out there that's speaking about trying to establish a consular court. Well, here it says the Supreme Grand Council is the highest judicial tribunal, which is a court. So I'm confused. I'm really confused. We should be knowing this stuff. This should be very well published and documented and propagated out to all the temples so that everyone has this information. Let me see. I had a couple more that I just wanted to get to real quick, and then I want to move to the Supreme Grand Sheiks for a second. Okay, boom. How does the grand body assist in Act 1 of our divine constitution? On January 7th, 2017, the sitting Supreme Grand Council determined, and this is another thing, and all of these rulings and determinations and these opinions that the Supreme Grand Council put forth, I don't know who is speaking or who is making what points. It just says the Supreme Grand Council or we, but it doesn't clarify who is saying what or who has what opinion. Just like in the Supreme Court, the Supreme Court justices, when they make a ruling, they will have the ruling, and then they'll have like a summary, or and where all the justices, judges, anyway, all the people, the officials, they make their opinions. They put forth their opinion on the matter to kind of expound on why the ruling happened the way it did, and it allows you to understand each of their thinking. and their mentality and their perspectives. The way this is established is very vague in that I don't really know where this information is coming from within this alleged Supreme Grand Council. Anyways, how does the Grand Body assist in Act 1 of our divine Constitution? The sitting Supreme Grand Council determined the Grand Body assists the Grand Sheik and Chairman make and enforce laws as follows. The Grand Sheik and Chairman proposes a law. Then he will have the Supreme Grand Council review it in light of how the Prophet would have if he was in the flesh. If the council concurs with the law as written, then it must go before the Grand Body for their review. And if the Grand Body and the council concur, the Grand Sheik and Chairman may sign it into force. Alternatively, if a proposed law can be generated by the approval of the Grand Body as a whole, then the Supreme Grand Council must review and concur it before it can be signed into force. Next, the Grand Sheik and Chairman may make it a law by signing it into force, or he may veto it by refusing to sign it into force. I read that just to show it seems very clear this is governmental issues that is being dealt with the Supreme Grand Council. And this is something that we definitely need to know about and need to know how our government, how our nation is ran. And, the fact that this was determined, this was talked about in, that's 6. This was talked about a while ago, almost 2 years ago. I don't have the exact date, but this was talked about almost 2 years ago. Why are we just now getting this information? This is like beyond ridiculous. This should have been out. It's a bunch of notes here. I'm just trying to give some highlights just to kind of show what's in this document, the document. But I encourage you all to read this document for yourself, highlight it, question it, write notes on the sides, commentary, because this is our government, this is our nation. We have to be involved. And if you don't, if you need a link for this, just email me iamhhtemple@gmail.com. I just boom add you right into the it's a Google Drive or open Google Drive with the documents. Download it. Don't gotta sign up. Don't gotta email. I don't gotta approve you for it. As soon as you email me, I'm gonna just put the link and send it right back to you. I'm gonna read one. I feel like I want to read one more thing. Okay, yeah, boom. So, okay, so this is perfect. This kind of leads into the conversation about the Supreme Grand Sheiks. Yeah. It says here on bullet 7.7, bullet point 7.7, and this was around May 7th, 2017. The topic was the Assistant Grand Sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And it gets into how if the person holding the Grand Sheik and Chairman / Supreme Grand Sheik position becomes unable to fill his duties by his or her duties by reason of absence, disability, retirement, or bodily death, does the Assistant Grand Sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of America automatically step into place as both the Grand Sheik Chairman and the Supreme Grand Sheik of the Moorish Council, the Supreme Grand Council? The Supreme Grand Council determined the answer is yes. And so they get into a whole breakdown. But what I wanted to highlight is on